Alright guys, I've got myself a Dr. Pepper, a squeaky chair, and a fucking banana. I'm ready to go. Hopefully you guys don't hear any background noise. These cicadas or crickets or whatever they are, they're going berserk right now outside in the yard. And it's so hot in my house, I can't, I'm dying here. But I have something that I have to talk about. So I started collecting original Xbox games a few years ago. And over time my collection's been growing and growing. And now I have a lot of games for the original Xbox, and I've noticed something while collecting these games and trying to enjoy them. While a lot of them are backwards compatible with the 360, actually more than I thought there would be, and there's still there's a few games that are actually backwards compatible with Xbox One that you can actually buy on the marketplace, which is incredible. So there were some rare games I couldn't find, like Conquer Live and Reloaded. I actually found, they actually gave that away for Games with Gold at one point, which is pretty interesting. But I've noticed something about these original Xbox games, and there's this huge problem with the original Xbox, and it's simply this. The machines are dying. I mean, let's think about it. The original Xbox, it's, what, 20 years old at this point? So all these machines they're getting up there in age. They're older than some of the people watching this video. And when all these machines die, we're gonna have a problem because you won't be able to play these old games, and a lot of them are really good, and a lot of them you can't play on a 360 or an Xbox One. Most of them you cannot play on an Xbox One. More than half of them, I think more than half or more than half, you can't play on the 360. And there are a lot of games for the original Xbox you can play on the 360, but most you can't. Well, maybe not most. Either way, I'll tell you why I started making this video. So, the original Xbox is it's probably my favorite console of all time. Just the memories that I have and the nostalgia I get when playing those older games, it's just incredible. And there were some real bangers on the original Xbox that just don't get enough love, and I really wish I could revisit. And some of them I never even got the chance to play in the first place. How am I supposed to play Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball if my fucking... I got the game, I found it, it's really fucking rare, by the way. I managed to find a copy at a local game exchange in the town I live in, and I bring it home and I pop it into to my Xbox, and it just won't boot up. See, these original Xboxes, they're losing the ability to read games. They just can't do it anymore. You'll try to load a game and it'll just say the disc is unrecognizable. You clean the disc, maybe it's damaged or dirty, blah blah blah. These could be a perfect disc, and in most of the cases that I've tried, they are very, very well maintained discs that should work perfectly. And sometimes they do load, which is why I know that it's not a problem with the disc every time. It's a problem with the Xboxes. So I've tried it on multiple Xboxes, by the way. So I've got one. I have the Halo. Okay, let me talk about what happened in my first Xbox. I had this thing for like 15 years, the original Xbox, and I booted it up one day because I wanted to play some game I'd never played, probably Brute Force or something like that, or Armed and Dangerous, something that I'd never played before, but I just picked up. So I pop it into my Xbox, and it starts smoking out of the disc tray. Literal smoke is coming out of this fucking disc tray. So I'm like, that's not normal. I think it's time I retire this thing. So I did. I go and I find a local game store that actually has the limited edition Halo Xbox, so I buy that, and it works for a little bit. But that started to crap out on me too, because most of the time it won't read a disc for like the first 10 or 15 tries. I have to keep turning it off and on, or opening and closing the disc tray and trying all this, old school Super Nintendo blow on the cartridge kind of thing. And sometimes it'll work, like it'll start playing the game. But this Xbox, it has a problem with a lot of games where if a scene gets a little bit too intense, or a cutscene's going that's particularly resolution heavy or frame heavy, it just chugs along, and then it might just freeze. Like, I could just be in the middle of playing a game, a cutscene comes on, and then the game just stops, because the Xbox, you can hear it, like the fan is spinning at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and it gives up. It says, fuck it, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm an ancient piece of technology. You can't expect me to still play these games. So I'm thinking, well, that sucks. So I go online and I find an Xbox. I order it. It arrives at my house. It doesn't even play one game. Not one. It doesn't even manage to boot up one game. And I tried many. It does the same thing. It can't read discs. And I'm guessing time is not going to help this issue. I mean, I don't know much about Xbox technology and infrastructure of the machines, but you know, these sorts of things, they don't usually get better with time. So what I'm saying is, if something doesn't get figured out, these games are eventually just going to be lost forever, you know? There's going to be no way to play it. And that really fucking sucks because I love the original Xbox so much. And there's so many games that I missed out on because I didn't have the opportunity to get them when I was younger. And now that I'm older and I can't really enjoy them because the machines themselves can't play these games. And that really, really, really sucks. And I wish Microsoft would come up with some sort of solution. I don't know what it would be, but it would be really great if we could, you know, play these games again worry-free. But I don't know. And I know emulation is one idea, but Xbox emulation is very poor at the moment. It's in its infancy. It's not like GameCube or Game Boy or PS2 or PS1 where there's just a ton of games you can play and they all work fairly well. It's really complicated to play Xbox games on an emulator. It's not easy, and there aren't that many games available. Most games that ever existed for Xbox, they don't work on an Xbox emulator. They don't run properly, or you can't get past the loading screen, or you can't even boot it up. So yeah, it really sucks, and it's just something I was thinking about. And I don't know if anybody else has this issue, or if a lot of people probably just like, I never really was that into original Xbox, but I know there's some people out there that know my pain, and I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep searching for an original Xbox that can run games, but I don't know. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. It kind of put a damper into a series I was wanting to do where I play through and review original Xbox games. It's going to be a little bit harder now because I can do the ones I can play on 360 I can do because they work. The ones I can play on Xbox One, I can do that because it's, you know, it runs perfectly on that. But all these older games that never got the port over, never got the backwards compatibility, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I'd have to find an emulated GameCube or PS2 version of some of them, and then the ones that are only on Xbox, I just can't play them. I mean, I might get lucky sometimes, and maybe sometimes the Xbox will decide to work that day. But I don't know. Or maybe I'll find a good one that still works. But I mean, I'm done rambling. I just thought this is something on my mind. I don't know. If anybody, I don't know where I'm going with that. If anybody feels my pain, I appreciate you there. But that's really it. So I'm gonna keep an eye out. I'm gonna keep looking for it. Keep looking for solutions, and hopefully one day we can all enjoy these old school original games again. But until then, I won't get my hopes up, and I'll be trying to keep my mind busy playing other things. So thanks to everybody who listened to me rant and ramble. I appreciate you, and I hope you guys have an excellent day.